In the last session, we looked at the human, social, and economic costs of cities without nature. So, what can we do about it? Well, over the last 200 years, particularly following the Industrial Revolution in the developed nations, scientists, policymakers, practitioners, and thinkers have been tackling this very issue. The Garden City movement was born in the UK in 1898 as a result of rapid urbanization of the industrial and post-industrial periods. It suggested a healthy, natural, and economic combination of town and country life, through urban planning that created self-contained cities, surrounded by greenbelt, and with sufficient public transport and other connections to larger urban areas. A slightly more modern approach, which has gained momentum recently, is the idea of biophilic cities. Biophilia was first introduced by the Harvard biologist Edward O. Wilson in 1984, and is the theory that human beings have an instinctive connection with, and, in his words, the urge to affiliate with other forms of life. This has evolved internationally into the biophilic cities movement. There are lots of definitions of biophilic cities, but one put forward by Tim Beatley, author of Biophilic Cities, is that they are cities that contain abundant nature. They are cities that care about, seek to protect, restore, and grow this nature, and that strive to foster deep connections and daily contact with the natural world. Nature is not something optional, but absolutely essential to living a happy, healthy, and meaningful life. This is about connecting cities and their inhabitants to nature in all its forms, animal and plant, terrestrial and aquatic, and making that connection part of the everyday. Cities such as Birmingham in the UK, Milwaukee in the US, and Singapore are aspiring to achieve its aims. We'll talk a bit more about how to develop a biophilic city a bit later on, but first let's consider what a biophilic city can do for us. The benefits of a biophilic city, or any place that ensures a solid integration with nature, are vast. In a way, they are the flip side of the negatives we spoke about in the last session. Here are some key ways in which a biophilic or nature city benefits those who live there. Some of the benefits are more functional and are linked to the ecosystem services that you heard about earlier. Although we aren't able to go into much detail here, the urban heat island effect is reduced by trees, green roofs, and other planting, which also help to reduce noise and to improve air quality. They also help to reduce flood risk, an issue that will become increasingly important in many cities because of climate change. Scientific evidence continues to build regarding the positive impacts of access to nature on our individual and on population health and well-being. This is particularly relevant in cities, where a variety of options, formal and informal spaces, can allow for everyone to engage with nature. For example, people are more likely to walk and cycle in areas that are more green. This supports other evidence around healthy lifestyles that shows nearby green spaces lead to an increased likelihood of being physically active, of reduced blood pressure, and of reduced likelihood of being overweight, and also results in improved self-reported health and longevity in the elderly. It's not just physical benefits. Having regular contact with nature is shown to have positive benefits to our mood and mental health, including improved self-esteem, attention and self-discipline, better cognitive restoration, and even a reduction in ADHD in children. There is evidence of reduced risk of stress, anxiety, and depression, all of which tend to be higher in urban areas, as well as increased resilience in those who suffer from mental illness. And actively taking part in nature, for example through gardening, has shown to help people suffering from psychosis and dementia. Research has recently shown that the mental health benefits of green space are not only immediate, but sustainable over long periods of time. Mental well-being is also reflected in the social benefits that have been linked to access to nature and green spaces, including improved community cohesion and social inclusion, and increased likelihood of informal social interactions and sense of community. In turn, this leads to improved perceived neighborhood safety and reduced aggression and crime. The biophilic city, or a city in touch with nature, also helps to reduce inequalities. As we mentioned before, access to nature, especially when it has been relegated to the countryside outside of the city, is often more available to higher socioeconomic groups. So they are the ones who can then reap the health and well-being benefits of access to nature. A city that allows and encourages access to nature to everyone, regardless of socioeconomic background and mobility level, can see increases in community involvement and improved integration in disadvantaged communities. It also means that the health and well-being benefits are available to all, regardless of age or background. On top of that, biophilic cities provide increased opportunities for food production, and they also provide places of calm away from the bustle of the city, where people can relax and simply connect with and feel inspired by the beauty of nature. And for those interested in the bottom line, cost savings and economic opportunities are potentially enormous. For example, a study in Philadelphia estimated that its parks have yearly value for the city of $5.94 million in stormwater management and $1.53 million in air pollution mitigation. In terms of health and well-being, if everyone was given equal access to green spaces, the National Health Service in England could save £1.2 billion every year. And there's more. There is good evidence that green space has positive impacts on local economic regeneration, including job creation, business startup, and inward investment. Greener cities also tend to attract more visitors, whose spending on shopping and leisure generates job opportunities and supports local businesses. Nature in cities can provide a range of options for training at the individual and community level, for example, from horticulture and maintenance or food growing. Overall, a biophilic city, a city that has nature integrated throughout, will better support the health and well-being of its inhabitants and its visitors. It will connect to the people and their culture, and it will allow everyone the fundamental needs to connect with nature where they live, work, and play.